Jeez.
Exchanging money.
Yeah, money on the table, cars up and down, step down.
I'm ready for the meeting now.
Yeah, pass it around, let's all get rolling. Jeez.
Is that airplane blue or?
Yeah.
I forget stuff fast enough without.
Don't need that, huh?
Thanks, man. No, it really helps in meetings. You know?
Yeah, I've heard that from quite a few people.
Good job.
Oh, yeah, that clock's off here.
No,
No?
we're good now. Thanks for fixing the clock.
No.
You did it. Call this meeting of the village board to order. Start out with pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Trustee Howdy Show.
Present.
Trustee Clark, excused absence. Trustee Renner.
Here.
Attorney Schober not here yet. President Isaac here. Clerk Kellner.
Here.
Trustee Goodman. Here. Trustee Kahn.
Here.
And Trustee Long.
Here.
Move on to item 2, public comments. And here's Attorney Schober. Thank you. Public comments. If there are any public comments, please sign in. Keep them to about 2 minutes or so. If there are no public comments, we'll move along. Item 3, reports. We will skip over fire for right now. Library report, Carla?
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I put in your packet our library numbers, which are actually, I'm really happy. They're positive. They're more than they were last year. They're more than they were pre-COVID. So maybe people came back to the library and found it again. Either way, it's been real nice. It's the atmosphere there is now what I am used to. People coming regularly, and they're bringing their kids now. It's Easter break. It's nice to see them again. And we're planning ahead for summer. I did get some people come in for advertising. We advertise through Lake Country Family Fun. It's an e-advertising method, and people look up local activities. Waukesha County Aging and Disability came into the library. They're the people that we usually have Medicare programs with. Right now they're doing that virtually, but she dropped off a lot of resources. We also had a winter reading program which ended, and 220 books were read by 30 people. Starting today, the library system put out a new app. For those of you that are real tech savvy, it's kind of fun. It's easy to download through Google Play or the Apple Store. It's actually your library card, our entire library catalog, and it's on your phone. So you can sit in the store and order your books. You can pay your overdue fines with it. And I downloaded it. If I can do it, anyone can. So I'm starting to advertise it. We have a 2D scanner that was given to us through some state grants, and we're working on getting that adjusted so we can actually scan the library card off of a phone. It's not there yet, but it should be pretty soon. I've been spending a lot of my time this last month updating policies, so Attorney Schober will be sending a pack to you to approve after the next library board meeting. That's been really interesting. We had a few challenging patrons and situations that we found out our library does not have policies for. So we decided we should have some wording so that the staff knows what to say if we're challenged. I don't know what else to tell you other than we have a new activity now. Our activities that have the greatest attendance are the ones that we do on a monthly basis. Bringing in a performer, it can be good or bad just depending on the interest in the community. We had an organic gardener who lives off of Artesian. She came, and that was a great program. She is having a library group go to her place in April, which we can still count for our statistics. And then she might come back here again. We're starting a coloring program, which sounds kind of funny, but I'll tell you, the seniors love it. We had 11 of them in here listening to music, chatting, and coloring, so we're gonna try, it's like a relaxation hour. So when you see cars here in the afternoons, especially Thursdays, it's our programs. Any questions at all? And if you ever have any questions, please come and stop in and visit. I would enjoy meeting some of you and talking to you some more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Item 3C, Police Department report. Chief?
First off, before Carlo leaves, I'm gonna be taking off Thursday for an hour to be coloring with them.
Nice.
Nice.
You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't.
All right, you got police reports in front of you. You should have 4 pages. 12 total offenses, 2 assaults, 1 fraud ID case, 5 drug-related cases, 3 intoxicated drivers, and 1 warrants. 11 adults arrested total, 109 traffic stops, 91 citations, 355 calls for service, 91 house building checks, extra patrols, 2 traffic accidents, and 1 response with fire department on an EMS call. Take a look at your narratives there. You all know we're a quiet village, and I know sometimes there's talk about the need for law enforcement services and stuff, and how much we need and don't need. If you go down to the two bold ones, I have, you know, the one on March 21st. 3 wonderful individuals, not from our village, going through our village with 4 guns, all dope-related cases. All of them had a possession of firearms illegally, all in custody thanks to my guys and gals. I don't want to read that one. The things that don't happen in Big Bend actually do happen in Big Bend. And then if you skip down a few, we can read the other ones at your leisure. This one's actually still pending. We served a search warrant today to obtain some more evidence. 2 individuals on 164 again, over 200, well over 200 count of illegally obtained and possessed of prescription drugs. Charges for them are possession with intent to deliver. That's still pending. We got to do a couple, like I said, we have 2 search warrants we're doing on those that are active as we speak. Courts, 57 cases for initial appearances last month, 4 for the village of Waukesha, and the state debt collection that Gail works on every month. The numbers for that are at the end. You can just read them yourself. Questions?
Is court live now?
Nope.
No, sorry.
My opinion on court being live, since you brought it up. Thank you. Court ended in March, when COVID obviously started. Everybody around came up with the same, pretty much a different system. Our system is, and currently is, and I think should continue, instead of having 100 people in this room or 75 people in this room for their initial intakes, we send out a letter after the attorneys do the amendment offer. Gail types up a letter, does a form letter for each one, fills in what the amendment would be if there's going to be an amendment based on their driving records up, and we send them out to the people. They respond and either pay the ticket, take the amendment or not, send back the amendment letter. We've been averaging between 60 and 70% of all the cases being adjudicated just on the letter with no in-person court. I get that we're getting vaccines now and everything, but there is no need for court for all these initial appearances, and we can do 60 to 70% without having court in session. We can, you know, down the road, we're going to have some trials coming up, where we're going to have to be in session. It makes sense to do those, but it really doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to do court in session if we're having 60 to 70. They didn't have that high of a success resolving tickets at initial appearances when they did have in-person court. So we're doing better than what they did before. So I would encourage that we continue to do that and just have court when we have to have trials or if there's anything that we need to see in person. I just think it'll save time for the village, it saves money in my budget for the bailiffs, it saves time for the village of Waukesha when we have to have a bailiff for them. It just makes sense to continue a successful program that was thrown upon us because of the pandemic. And it's no different than private industry who's now having people work from their houses because they realize they don't need brick and mortar buildings, so half of their stuff they can do online because of technology. We got great technology that is working, and we have a system in place that we hopefully will keep doing that. Thanks for listening.
Very good.
I would agree. I mean, if you're getting that much success out of that first wave, why force all those people to come in?
Right.
I would
But
agree.
isn't that the judge's choice?
I believe it might be. But at the current time, the fire department is, right now with us not hiring for 9 months, we have 2 people that we are hiring, one that we hired, one that's getting sworn in Tuesday, Kelly, just so you know. We'll have to do a thing for her.
Tuesday,
Tuesday, or no, Wednesday, it takes 5 minutes. I'll have it all ready for you.
election,
I know. It might be Wednesday, one day next week.
all right.
So that's the first 2 people we've been able to hire in 9 months, so we're short. I haven't had nobody for a bailiff. If we had had, you're looking at what a bailiff would have been for the last 9 months if we would have had, we were so short.
You make a good bailiff, chief.
I did actually, once upon a time, for a minute, for 1 minute.
I'm not saying you'd be happy about it, but you make a good one.
So, but I think there needs to be some encouragement to do things that are successful and continue to be successful and save the village money. So that's my 2 cents.
Good idea.
I think we could use some of that information when the joint court committee meets too again, please.
We have it broken, Gail actually broke it down by month since this all started, so
Okay.
every month.
You got it all
down.
locked in,
Yeah.
good deal. Because, that's the one that's, I think, gonna have to decide when the court happens and doesn't,
I think they just
between
set,
them and the judge.
they just set the budget and the judge makes,
Right,
but we'll need that information, because, yeah.
very good. We will go back to the fire department monthly report. Chief Ludwig, good evening.
All right, we had 7 calls for the month. On March 11th, I was invited to the Muskego Chamber of Commerce Gathering and Muskego Lakes Country Club. Big Bend Fire Department was presented 2 awards for the night. The first was a Hometown Heroes Award presented to us by the Muskego Chamber of Commerce, recognizing us for outstanding service to the city of Muskego. The second award was presented to us by State Representative Chuck Wickers. He presented the state citation recognizing us for our tremendous valor, support, and service during the pandemic. Right now, our equipment is being rotated through AM Towing for its yearly DOT inspections and preventive maintenance. And on March 27th, members of our fire department attended the funeral service for retired Police Lieutenant John Kopecki. Any other questions?
For me. Chief, did you have something?
I got something I forgot when he's done.
Okay.
Chief, thank you. That is the list I'm looking for, so,
Okay,
yeah, thank you very much.
okay, perfect.
Thank you, Chief.
All right.
One last thing for the police department I forgot, and
Yes, sir.
shame on me because it deserves some credit. Our Facebook went live about 350 days ago. Today we hit 1,000 people following us on our Facebook page with Big Ben. Officer Schweitzer does 98% of the posts. I do a couple once in a blue moon just because I see something and he's not around, so I'll do a post. If you don't follow us, it's not just stuff, we don't really put stuff out, we put stuff on Big Bend on there, but we also follow State Patrol and several other places. So we put other stuff out there also, updates on like the Easter egg hunt that's coming up for the Lions Club. We do all that, but I think, for a small village and a small department, we're putting enough credible and interesting stuff that we have 1,000 followers already. And if you go on and you'll see how many people have seen our stuff and look at our stuff on a daily basis when we post it. So my compliments, or if you see Nate Schweitzer, my nighttime officer usually, let him know that if you are following it, he deserves a credit that, been very successful for less than a year.
He's done a very good job. Thanks. President's report, no report tonight. Public Works Department report.
Excuse me.
Good evening.
I wish all you a happy Easter.
Thank you. You too.
So,
We were out twice this month salting.
Last
I
month,
know, pardon me?
last month,
Last month, April Bulls.
yeah.
And one of the questions that Trustee Long had asked is where would we be on our salt? We were able to fulfill our salt contract, and we took in 65 tons of salt. We had another 20 tons in there, so we're at about 85 tons right now. We still have to pay for that, but the savings from last year to this year is about 42.5%. So, I did wheel back the salt request or the order for next year. I did send it, I believe, to Jeff and to Warren. Because I didn't cut it all the way, we're about down 40 tons, but if we have what we have in there, should be plenty, so we have another 85 tons of sand salt mix that's in there. The electrical problem in the park with the lights is fixed. We did post roadways on March 3rd, and the weight limits came off on March 26th. We've been chasing a leak in truck 6 and we found what it was. Cushion valve and there's cracked on the back, so we have one ordered. Little something on Edgewood Avenue here. Our police department called me and said, hey, we need to have this stop sign over here on Edgewood at L replaced. And it's actually a county sign, but it was replaced by the county on Friday. It got clipped on Saturday again, so the county was out and took care of that. So, as any place, use caution when you're obviously driving. The bow fishermen are back, obviously, shooting carp, and I'm gonna have a sign made because we cleaned out a significant amount of carp from our recycle dumpster. And needless to say, a day or two in there, and there's a very, very nice pungent odor that comes out of that, so we'll try to get that.
Figure out who they are, Tony, so we can bring them over by us. Bring some of them.
We cleaned out a bunch of bird nests and stuff and dog droppings over by the pavilion, trying to keep up on that. I know Trustee Goodman's been on us with the ball fields and stuff, and that's gonna start here on Monday. DPW did also purchase quite a quantity of drain tile, which we hope that we can at least get someone installed next week, provided it stays dry. We also have a tree that went down over here behind the PD garage. Like to let that sit a little bit till we get a little bit drier, but we take heavy equipment in there. We're gonna do quite a bit of damage compared to just letting it sit right now. It's not bothering anything. Unsightly as it may be, I think we have to think about the greater cost of fixing everything there. Then the Washington County Parks, or Washington County Public Works Association, we picked up 7 pallets of road sealant, 21,000 pounds. So we have right now on hand about 43,000 pounds of sealant that we'll put down. We're looking for some volunteers to drive the pickup truck. I know Trustee Goodman's been good enough to help us, but we also run a bump car between us on some of them, like on Edgewood and stuff like that, because there's so much traffic. So if anybody has a day off and they want to occupy a vehicle, it should be nice to help us.
Give me a couple of days heads up notice, sir, if I can help you out.
All right, appreciate it.
I'd probably help out too.
Appreciate it. As you all know, we have a old backloader. It's our backhoe loader. It's a 1998. We finally did ball joints on that, which was quite the job. That was all taken care of and got that squared away on Monday this week. So that's now back in service. We ordered some pins for the bucket. After 20 years, they've worn a little bit, so we have those going in. So took care of that. We're working on a John Deere tractor right now. Alternator one on that, so we'll get that done. Did a MS4 inspection at the Cajun site with the DNR. Both of our engineers were there, including me and 2 people from the DNR. Everything right now is stabilized. There is some work up there that needs to be done, but as the growing season progresses here, I think it'll come into play. Everything will look good. Should be no other issues. We did some coal patching on Windbrook, Edgewood Court, Vernon Lane. Also did a walkthrough with both engineers of the size of the project over on Henneberry. And Naomi will be doing a critique on that, so so they can get that going. Kind of a staff meeting for the Lake Park storage condos, and I will tell you that since we've done these staff meetings on projects going on, there is a real everybody understands from different departments where everything's going. Probably one of the best things that's ever happened here. You have DPW, building inspection, planning, and you have an engineer here. And then you have the people that are here that want to build or you want to do something, land development, and it works out, I think, fairly well. And attended emergency management meeting. I know Tony's been heading that up, and he's doing a really nice job. I know he doesn't always get all the information we need to him right away, but he's been patient, and he's brought things forward to the board. Any questions?
I'm just gonna make a kind of an update or comment about the ball fields. We have 3 organizations right now that have contracted with us to use the fields. Eric and I and Chuck are going to really dress up those fields because, we want to make them look fantastic so that, we can even get more teams in here next year. And I did have another team connect with me this week, and they want to take a few days for the larger field. So we're really getting some interest back there. Whether they're just playing once or twice a week or they're playing a tournament or whatever. People have started to realize that Big Bend has a very nice field back there. And we're going to do some more work on the shed and the scoreboard and all that kind of stuff. So we can really have something nice back there.
Planning on putting power to the shed. We have all that stuff too. We get some good dry weather like we have now. We should be able to get that done pretty much in a day.
Yeah. And the other thing on that savings on salt, which is fantastic, that we save 42%. Now that's, a lot of it's credited to that new piece of equipment, right?
I believe so. Everybody knows that December was pretty much a very light month, but the hammer came in January and February, and we were up quite a bit. March, not so much, but that piece of equipment, just so everybody understands, there are municipalities right now buying those pretty much left and right because of what it does and how much it saves. And in the beginning, I told everybody here if that plow would save us 20%, I'd be happy. I'd be extremely happy.
Do you have an estimate on how many man hours we saved, approximate?
I don't, because we're now doing everything in one shot. Instead of coming back and doing cul-de-sacs, with that machine, I'm able to go in there and do it all in one shot and be done.
So it's really been a huge benefit to the village. So,
Right.
And didn't you say they're pretty much sold out of those type of things?
Yeah, some of the plows right now, certain size like we have are tough to get right now just because it's catching on with everybody. And some of the smaller towns in northern Wisconsin, and Waunakee buying 2, City Waukesha bought 2. So it's coming around. We didn't have any breakdowns with that this year. So it did work out again. Thanks for that. The 23-year-old truck was pretty much seen this day.
Yeah. And celebrations reported to DPW are meeting Monday night. So maybe you want to talk about that at all, since it's part of your department or whatever. But they really had a good report as far as what they're doing, planning for the 10-year reunion and stuff like that.
I'll go into that. So we switched from the company that we were using, Midwest Tractor and Truck Pullers. They're a great company. They brought us a long way. We've taken the next step, or we're going a little more on a high performance thing right now. So we've got guys coming from all over the state, good organizations to deal with, as was Midwest. We got a lot of people calling me. I mean, I got 5 phone calls tonight to return when I get home on different pullers, but we're moving forward. We got some issues with bleachers, as we always do, trying to get that ironed out. But we're expecting good things. Got a bigger tent. We have Rebel Grace on Friday night. Our other band that we had, Crisis, they've got some medical issues with the drummer, I believe, and with the singer. So we brought in Rebel Grace, which is a huge band too. And then we have Pelican on Saturday night. So.
And then they did get approved to purchase, or to get the loan to purchase their sign, which over the years, had they purchased it back on day 1 or day 2, it would have been paid for by now. So that's a great thing. And I want to be real clear on this. This is being paid for with no taxpayer money whatsoever. This is all coming out of what Celebrations has done, and it's, Eric, you have done a great job with this deal.
No,
And it's
it's not
just
just me,
getting
there's a
bigger.
whole lot of people that are there to help,
Yeah, but
so.
great idea to help the parks and your department, and stuff like this, and it's taking some of the burden off the taxpayers by having this great event.
So one other thing on that note too, I know Jeff's been really pushing for baseball teams, and our committee is dedicated to obviously doing things in the park. We would like to, since we do have the power back there right now, which we put in last year, we'd like to light that ball field if at all possible, which gives the opportunity for other teams to play later at night. So, and we're also looking for volunteers on July 9th and 10th.
Oh, he's raising his hand back here.
No, not for that.
Yes,
Going back to the baseball and that down there, I know since there's getting to be more and more, is there any way that we could get some signage put up? I know.
Parking?
Yeah.
So yes, I'm working, I'd like to seal the parking lot down there and down here,
Okay.
restripe it, and then for the fire department, I wanna do some
If
parking.
we can get like 5 or 6 spots.
And I
maybe.
wanted to talk to you prior to that, so we
Okay.
get that taken care of. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to
Because
talk
I
to
know
the
once
chief.
in a while it's a zoo down there when we
Yeah.
try and come in and there's no place to go. You're gonna park somebody in and they're not gonna be happy, and so.
Need to talk to Don about that too, because he's got some stuff he's gonna want over there on the police department too, so. This is another thing we're working on right now. One of our distributors has a sprayer located in Waterford, and this has never been sealed up here. We've got a couple quotes, they were a little expensive, so they actually have a sprayer we can rent. So we're looking at that, and then we bring somebody in here just to do all the lining and stuff. I think it would put a nice touch on the village hall and things like that. Just gotta see where you are, obviously, with my budget and stuff like that.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Easter.
See you.
Item F, report from professional services.
I think everything we have is on the agenda.
Beautiful. We'll move along then. Item 4, consideration and approval of minutes. Approval of March 4th, 2021 village board meeting minutes.
Motion dispense with reading.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, trustee Clark to pay key bills. We need a key.
I'm not, under 6 under old business with emergency, regarding the emergency manager plan part of there. I'm not sure where the date of 4/2021 came in. There was never a deadline for the, to appoint an emergency manager. Just be by, so that, before we do the final submission on the emergency plan itself.
So just strike
So we
that
can
if something
get the-
happens by 4/20.
Yeah, I don't.
We can get the date out of there and just put if something happens by completion of.
You don't even need to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I worded it, but I just know I'm gonna put a date in there.
Okay.
Get rid of everything from after the word manager.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
that would be good for me.
In the next section, Superintendent Pedersen,
Parking stuff on there?
Yeah, for that.
Leon.
Because we're using.
And Michelle, like,
Right.
The thing is, working with the guy now, he gets the layout here, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna spend, what if we get, anything like that, we gotta get the whole package together for good. So they could come in and do the whole thing, and spray it right away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on the side over there, and we talked about it's obviously.
They do that.
I don't see anything else. So I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
So,
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't.
Opposed?
I wasn't either, but I guess I'll review the notes.
so what?
Motion carries. Item 5, approval of bills. Discussion, consideration, and approval of bills from April 1st, 2021 in the amount of $53,251.88.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bills are paid. Item 6, old business. Discussion, consideration, and possible action on the emergency management plan for the Village of Big Bend. Update. Tony.
There is no update. We did not have a public safety meeting, commission meeting this month.
Okay. We will carry that forward to next month. Thank you. 6B, discussion, consideration, and possible action for approval of a purchase of a DPW camera from Celebrations. Update. Derek, please.
He's the vice president chief.
Okay, Celebrations met last night, they agreed to pay for the camera, but not until after the Rumble. They're really strapped for cash right now, and they got a lot of bills coming up, so they asked Eric if he has the money in his budget, if he could pay for it up front, they'll reimburse him right after the Rumble. That seemed amenable to him, but I can't speak for him on record.
Is that just a bolt onto the existing central one?
Yeah, right, it's just adding one camera to the current system.
Because there's capacity to do that, it's not tapped out?
I believe you're correct.
Okay.
Chief got the quote. I don't know. I asked him, he said, yeah, they quoted him roughly $700 to slap it up there.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be a lot more if there was another controller involved, so.
Right.
You know what?
So that's where that's at. They're willing to reimburse DPW for that expense.
We don't have any action on it, just.
No,
right?
right,
Yeah.
correct. Item 6C, discussion, consideration, and possible action for approval of 2021 contract with Wisconsin Building Inspections LLP. You have the contract here. This was, what did we amend on this?
Just, we will change the village,
Oh, yeah, town to village,
Yes.
correct.
and, the attorney said, okay, so, instead Jason signed it, all we have to do is sign it.
Okay, I think we voted on this already, right, last meeting? Item 6D, discussion, consideration, and possible action for approval of 2021 contract with Mary Sensky, the planner. Speaking of the planner,
So, I have a copy of ours that we looked at, that we had highlighted, that area in there. And then the attorney redid it with his corrections.
I was wondering why there were two copies, so there's obviously a slight difference.
Yeah.
What we have, I don't believe that we first go ahead to 15%.
Right.
NLTPs?
Yeah, there should be one. the latter one.
Well, I just got an extra first page here.
So we're just dealing with the highlighted ones, huh?
No, both of my copies have it, and one of them's not highlighted yet,
Oh.
unless you just called out the section that was changed.
Yeah, we
That's the
sent
difference.
two versions just so people could see what changed. So the only change.
Oh.
The yellow section,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
that's good.
didn't realize
Gotcha.
this.
So that one
Because
goes.
I was looking at the earlier highlighted one that wasn't complete.
You're getting two new items.
And you had that conversation with Mary related to this?
I did have that kind of, I called her right after the board meeting, she actually happened to be watching it, and she
Heard
already,
it? Nice.
she already knew
I was
what I was
watching
gonna
too from Florida, so I was like, I saw the discussion, I'm like, oh. So even though I wasn't here, Jeff, I was kind of watching it, so.
She finally got to meet her bill yesterday.
Well, yesterday was the end of the quarter, so,
That was for what?
first quarter.
First quarter.
The whole first quarter?
Yep.
You know, that's the only problem I have is with this planner's ability we cannot let this go to December.
She's on it.
Yeah, but we just got our bill, and that's the first quarter, so that's good, that's a good start.
I called her last week and talked to her about a few things we had on planning commission, and reminded her of the billing, and she knew it, and we just kind of, friendly chatted that, hey, that's her money out there.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yes, it is, but then again, we have to turn around and rebuild
Right.
people.
So-
They are very upset when we wait a year.
Which one of these are we approving and signing?
I don't see
That's
one
like
for
the clean,
herself.
the clean.
Oh, I see, yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
The one that's not yellow.
Yeah, I think we really created more confusion by trying to highlight the things.
And we already approved this last meeting with the amended change,
Yep.
right?
I thought you said,
I thought it was tabled.
table,
Hold on a second.
Until, it was tabled until the attorney looked
So
at
it's
it.
not approved, we have to approve it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will need a motion to approve.
I will make that motion to approve the contract for planning services.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, new business. A, review, discussion, and possible approval of the request of property owner / applicant Stephen Stiza to develop a 16-lot, single-family residential planned unit development under conditional use grants, for example, Ribblebrook East, and including consideration of the associated preliminary plat. This request pertains to village tax parcel number BBV 2112993-003, which contains approximately 35.5 acres of vacant land, such parcel being located adjacent to and south of Hannaberry Avenue and just east of and adjacent to the Ripplebrook West subdivision in the village of Big Bend, Wisconsin. The property is zoned R2 residential district. In your packet, you have noting here from Mary from the Planning Commission, the discussion, the recommendation. I will read through her recommendation that went to the Planning Commission. Actually, I'll just read through a memorandum, that'll be easier, I'll summarize it all. On January 28th, a joint public hearing, Planning Commission and Village Board was held. As a part of the regular agenda business conducted later the same night, the Village Planning Commission recommended approval of the Ribblebrook East preliminary subdivision plat to the Village Board as follows. Motion by Commissioner Trustee Renner, seconded by Commissioner Fickow, to recommend approval of the preliminary plat for Ribblebrook East as a planned unit development through conditional use grant with the following conditions. 1, conduct of a joint public hearing on this plan prior to Village Board action. Such hearing tentatively scheduled at this time to be held on January 28, 2021. Preliminary plat changes to be made to reflect the comments and recommendations of the Planning Commission, planner, engineer, and other village departments to whom the pre-preliminary plat has been circulated. Such revisions to be returned for final review and recommendation by the Planning Commission as a revised preliminary plat before advancing this request to the village board. 3, the village board will support the revised preliminary plat in its review of this conditional use grant and planned unit development request. The approval should be conditioned upon the applicant returning through the planning commission and the village board processes with a final plat, including all of the attendant details such as, but not necessarily limited to, village review and approval of all grading, drainage, erosion control, stormwater management, utility, and similar plans, roadway construction, project phasing, development agreement, stormwater management agreement, homeowners association, and restrictive covenants details. 4, the conditional use permit and related land covenant must be fully executed prior to the start of any work on this project. Unanimously approved. A copy of the planning staff report that went to the planning commission and regarding this preliminary plat is attached. A copy of the proposed Ripplebrook East preliminary plat is also attached.
Where was this table last month?
We did not have the packet with it,
Got it.
and the verbiage was incorrect in the agenda.
He's been through planning quite a bit. He had came and consulted even before it came to submission time, so I mean, we've been talking about it for quite a few months. So I'll make the motion to approve with the conditions suggested by Mary that Warren just read off in the memorandum.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I guess the biggest concern anybody has had about this, and, you know, I think it's great to have this development and everything else, and I'm sure you guys kicked this around a lot, but the biggest question was the retention ponds, you know, it's gonna be significant to hold the water or the flow of the water. I think some people had some flooding. And so you feel that that's well taken care of?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Kapoor and all them, the engineering has been involved to, you know, stormwater management plan has to, you have to be able to displace the water, you know, so, no worse than what it is as virgin soil before the development. So, the engineering calcs have been run to show that they can do that with the topography that's developed, as well as the retention areas. So, we have to leverage that, those experts indicated in that engineering at this point.
It was brought up at planning too, about the little creek or
Yeah.
brook that runs through there
Through that
too,
area.
and that's gotta, you know, it's gonna do what it's gonna do, and we can't
Right.
change that either.
Yep.
Right.
So if that happens to flood out due to tremendous rain or whatever, that's not on a,
Like I say, I think that's the only comments that's
right?
ever been made from,
Right, that whole area from the Salatine Fields, almost from the Moose Lodge, basically flows that way. And
Right.
several times in my life here, that it's bigger than the Fox River going across 164 down
Yep.
It's a natural occurrence, so to speak, for that area based on the topography and gravity.
And I know you've really looked into that. As long as you feel that it's in good shape,
Yeah, again, because
then I'm good with it.
the engineers that looked through it and they obviously know the area and those concerns because that was brought up, so.
Right. Probably several times, and
Yeah.
I think
Like I
it
said,
was brought up in a public comment. Public hearing.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but now both stormwater pond systems are going to be implemented prior to development of the site. I believe that they were looking at a staged approach before, but now both are going in prior to the construction started.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Which that'll help alleviate any of the stormwater issues from the site itself.
Due to the construction of temporary nature or what have you.
Right. It'll be a great addition to the village.
Yep.
So,
Agree.
yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding proclamation for municipal treasurers from April 18th to April 24th, 2021.
Got that in the,
What are you sneaking in on me here?
okay.
I'm kidding. Go to proclamation here. Proclamation Municipal Treasurers Appreciation Week, April 18th to 24th, 2021. Whereas the office of the municipal treasurer is a time-honored and vital part of local government that impacts the day-to-day life of citizens throughout the state, and whereas the municipal treasurers provide the necessary financial information to governing bodies and agencies at the local, county, and state levels, and whereas the municipal treasurers administer the procedures and keep the financial records that allow governing bodies to carry out its public function efficiently and confidently, and whereas all municipal treasurers are the official custodians responsible for proper management and investment of public funds, and whereas the 1,853 municipal treasurers and the 72 county treasurers work together to collect all property taxes for their own municipalities and counties, as well as their local schools, technical colleges, and the state. And whereas municipal treasurers continually strive to improve the administration of the responsibilities of the office of the municipal treasurer through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and conferences across Wisconsin. And whereas Governor Tony Evers signed a proclamation on March 10th, 2021, declaring April 18th to 24th, 2021 as Municipal Treasurers Appreciation Week in Wisconsin. Now, therefore, I, Warren Lysick, Village President of the Village of Big Bend, do hereby recognize the week of April 18th through April 24th, 2021 as Municipal Treasurers Appreciation Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal treasurer and staff and to all municipal treasurers for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated this first day of April, 2021. I can just do this as an executive action, right? I don't need a motion.
Okay. Yes,
Very good.
this is your proclamation,
Right.
not the board's.
You got your.
Thank you.
The board has it.
So we want to protest.
Well, you're the clerk. Do I have the wrong agenda here? I don't have ordinance 2021-04 on my agenda. And I know I saw it in an email. Oh,
Yeah, there was two addendums on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, did it get knocked off?
Well, it's.
I'm missing two things. I've got a really old agenda here.
Yeah, this.
I'm gonna borrow yours or read along here.
This is the original, not the amendment one. That's printed, but we did have it posted, so.
Item 7C, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding President Lysick appointing Ellen Cole to the Police and Fire Commission. nominating Ellen Cole to the vacant position on the Police and Fire Commission. If that's okay with the village board, if they accept that nomination, she'll start immediately.
Need a motion for him?
I think
So
so.
motion, we accept
Yeah, it
that
should be.
nomination of
I'll
Ellen.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I just suggest that the motion include like the term, like how long she's would serve.
I think
Is that part of your motion?
it's a 3-year term, so it will be 3 years
And
from.
it's not a vacancy then. I mean, it's not a midterm.
No, right, it's been a vacant seat.
Yeah, that's fine, then you don't have to,
Okay.
sorry.
We'll move along to 7D, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding the cul-de-sac on Guthrie School Road. Got an email here from Mr. Hempkin, or Mr. and Mrs. Hempkin. Would you like to speak for a moment, or?
Want me to get up here, or?
You don't have to stand.
Oh, okay, it's with the development of the Marlin Printing property, with the sale and development. The existing gravel that everybody turns around in is not gonna be there anymore. You're gonna have a stub road, so every week when our garbage truck comes down, and every other week when the recycling truck comes down, when the police come down, when fire trucks would have to come down, when anybody getting lost comes down, they're either gonna be going up the road toward Con Oils or in the AM Towing lot to turn around. There's no place to turn around.
We visited this a couple of years ago, I think, or a year and a half ago. I went out and talked to Ms. Peterson at Con Oils, and she did not want or need a cul-de-sac. She said her parking lot is plenty large enough for any of her delivery trucks to turn around in. I talked to the Village of Vernon, and they were not willing to look at putting a cul-de-sac in at that point, because that's, half of their land as well. We did discuss possibly putting a cul-de-sac in when that entire road gets resurfaced. I don't know when that's on the schedule. It's not on Vernon's radar right now, and it's definitely not on ours yet.
The road at the end of our driveway is breaking up severely
We've got other ones.
and
that
holds
are-
water.
Right, we've got other ones that are pretty bad too. I shouldn't have said it's not on our radar, but it's not at the top of the list right now. It's something that we will definitely consider and keep in mind, but it won't happen this year or next.
How are the garbage trucks gonna turn around? Or the mail truck?
They're gonna have to do a Y-turn in a driveway. That would be my guess.
Is that appropriate or legal?
They have the same issue in the Jackson Parkway.
Chief,
They have to back up.
any recommendations on a truck turning around?
Because we have semis coming down, it's,
All the semis that come down should be going into a specific property where there's ample room to turn.
Unless they get lost.
unless they get lost. We have semis coming down, we have cars, we have trucks. There's a lot of traffic going in and out of AM Towing, there's a lot of people parking there.
Well, if there were to be a cul-de-sac put in, it would be a special assessment on the property owners that live there, because it's not scheduled as part of the village building right now or roads. It's a special request.
What about the shoulders on that road? The so-called shoulders that are deteriorating? Cause when cars are parked there, if you have a semi coming up or down, whichever way, you cannot get a vehicle past. Somebody's gotta hit the ditch. If there is a car parked on this side of the road and there's a semi coming down or the opposite, you cannot get past. Somebody's backing up. And I'm guessing it's gonna be the smaller vehicle.
Right. It's been like that for how many years,
Well, there's a lot bigger traffic coming down there now, and I'm not picking on Con Oils because they have a handful of semis a day, but
No,
there's a ton of vehicles down there and they're big.
Now we're gonna have more traffic going in and out of, the
The printing company.
old school property.
Yeah, as soon as DeLuca starts putting vehicles in there, in and out of there. And somebody's gotta take ownership of this, Big Bend or Vernon, and I know you got other fish to fry, but,
We will put it on our agenda for discussion at our next meeting
I
with
think we have to
Vernon.
get cooperation from Vernon too.
It will be, we talked about it once, like I said, a year ago, year and a half ago, whatever it was, with Vernon. We'll bring it up again and see what their schedule is for repaving that road, or their part of it. 'Cause we gotta do it, we have to do it together.
Can you just give me the background on who's paying for it, like, whose road is it? Cause I understand that there's split properties. Big Ben maintains it, you plow it.
Vernon owns it, Big Ben maintains it.
So Vernon has to fix it?
Don't know exactly how.
How that's separated.
Eric, do you have any insight on,
That road is owned by us completely. We own into the right of way also, so it would be our road. The estimates I had from Kapoor were between $74,000 and $96,000 to put a cul-de-sac in. That road is not, I've talked to the business owners there too, and they're not excited about paying for a cul-de-sac, because they have ability to turn units around there. But we need
if we
to
put a
annex,
cul-de-sac in, are we gonna have to widen that road out too? And or can we just do a cul-de-sac? I mean, there's gonna be, what, 1, 2, maybe up to 4 properties that are gonna have to donate land to get a cul-de-sac in there too?
no, what I suggested at Public Works is that we go to the east and put an offset bulb in there, instead of having an actual bulb, have an offset to the east. You have an open parking lot there right now.
Yeah, until DeLuca goes in.
Well, something we could probably maybe negotiate with, but I definitely would not pave it, not for that kind of money. I'd put either chip seal down or put a half-inch minus wrap on there to compact in, but $94,000 to put a cul-de-sac in, when we've got other roads like Vernon Lane that are just coming apart, does not make sense. See, at the end of a dead end road.
At the present time, the road is dipped in front of our driveway. There is a puddle every time it rains. It's about, whatever, 3-4 inches deep, but we're driving through it and there's gravel there, so every time we drive through the water, it washes the gravel out, so I'm busy trying to sweep gravel in there to make sure we can go in and out of our driveway reasonably. So the road is dished at our driveway and breaking apart.
I'm concerned about vehicles turning around down there. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know how the recycling and garbage is gonna turn around. My driveway's not big enough. They back up Con Oils. They're gonna be backing probably into AM Towing, I would guess.
You've got several streets like that. You've got Duran, you've got Jackson Parkway.
But they don't have the traffic that we do.
That's
They still
residential.
gotta turn a garbage truck around in both of those places. I guess we'll just put it on a,
Send it to Public Works for advisement,
send it there.
see what you can come up with,
Right.
and we'll meet with Vernon, discuss it with them, and see if they've got any.
Because if there's any potential for it, it's gotta happen before DeLuca puts his stuff in there. If he's got that,
No, he doesn't have to have before that. They have to apply to us to get any, to come onto that road. They're gonna have to apply and get culvert permits. That has to go through building inspection and planning. They're in Vernon, but they're coming into our right of way, so we would control that.
okay,
But again, I think it's something we can definitely take a look at.
Right.
I just know it's not on our plan to get this handled in the next year. And I think the plan for DeLuca, I think, is 3 to 5 years off from what I've understood.
That's when Marlon's out of there. I don't know when he's
Right.
officially buying it and is gonna start developing the open land. I don't know when that's happening. That sounds like that's happening sooner than that.
And it might be, I just heard that it was a 3 to 5 year plan.
Sure.
I don't have all the specifics on it.
Well, as long as I know they gotta come through Big Bend at least.
If they're gonna do anything with any of the land in the right of way, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we'll, I forgot my agenda's not right. So I guess I'll entertain a motion from somebody to send this down to Public Works for discussion and further research.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That was 7B, correct?
That was 7B, correct. Oh, I've got one more to go. C, item 7E, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding ordinance 2021-04, amending section 12.01 sub 3 relating to license fees. Ordinance 2021-04, an ordinance to amend section 12.01 sub 3 of the municipal code of the Village of Big Bend relating to license fees for intoxicating liquors and fermented malt beverages. The village board of the Village of Big Bend do ordain as follows. Section 1, section 12.01 sub 3 of the municipal code of the Village of Big Bend is amended as follows. 12.01 intoxicating liquors, fermented malt beverages, non-intoxicating beverages, and soda water beverages. Sub 3 license fees. The fees for the different classes of licenses and permits to be granted by the village board in accordance with the provisions of section 12.01 of the municipal code of the Village of Big Bend for or during the year beginning July 1st and ending the following June 30th shall be as follows. Class A fermented malt beverage license, $100 per year. Class B fermented malt beverage license, $100 per year. Class A intoxicating liquor license, $500 per year. Class B intoxicating liquor license, $500 per year. Class B reserve license, $10,000 for first year, $500 for each additional year. Class C wine license, $100 per year. G, wholesalers fermented malt beverage license, $40 per year. H, agent's fee, $40 per year. I, transfer of premise, $15. J, amendment to license, $15 each occurrence. K, new operator's license, $50 for 1 year. Operator's license renewal, $25 for 1 year. Provisional license, $15. Publication fee, $20. O, temporary Class B license to bona fide clubs, fair associations, agricultural societies, churches, lodges, or societies that have been in existence for at least 6 months, authorizing the sale of fermented malt beverages and wine containing not more than 6% alcohol by volume at a particular picnic, gathering, meeting, or fair, $10. Cigarette license, $100 per year. Liquor license late filing fee, $1,200 if liquor license application is not filed with the village clerk by May 1st. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances contravening or inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and take effect from and after its passage and publication as required by law. Passed and approved this first day of April 2021, Village of Big Bend. Yes, sir.
If I,
Please.
I'll just make one comment. Q is kind of the new section here, which is the late fee, the $1,200 late fee. The rest of these, to my knowledge, were all these amounts that were already in the code. I think in one or two cases, the order had changed, but the amounts, to my knowledge, didn't change at all. So I think last fall, the committee had considered a late filing fee because of some of the difficulties where special meetings had to be called and things like that. And so that was a recommendation, I think, of license committee for the 1,200. The only question I had raised was that fees of the village have to relate to the actual costs of processing and things like that. And I gave that input back, but I think the consensus was that there still was cost involved with the late filed ones. So in effect, this is the recommendation that came before us. It frankly is much higher than other communities, but
Stood out to me, I was like, whoa, that's a big number, especially considering you get a Class A for $100 a year, you know?
yeah, and this could be in addition to the 500 that they're paying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking mulch, but yeah, liquor license wise, that's 500.
Chief, did this go through public safety at all?
No.
I had minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, public safety, yes, I did, yeah, but I
I
can't.
think it was like July of last year, so.
Okay.
At least I got copies of that probably in the fall as I was going, and then I guess if we want to do a late fee that has a May 1st deadline, this would be the month that we should
Implement it.
approve it.
Yeah.
So we notify through the paper this ordinance? Is that what we do?
Yeah, they get published, yeah.
And then do we take in, like, how many people would fall under this that could possibly have that kind of late fee?
5, I
Yeah,
think.
more than that, though.
No.
Liquor
The
licenses?
bars and all the liquor licenses.
Just
So,
over like,
mobile,
yeah.
Quick Trip,
Oh, I forgot what.
That's what I mean, if you start talking gas stations and stuff up the hill, Kelly's Bleachers,
Jolly's Bleachers.
yeah, so I think you're probably pushing 8 or 9 total,
But
probably.
what I'm thinking is, it would be my recommendation to actually notify these people.
Proactively ahead of time, yeah.
Saying this
Heads up, this is new.
this is it, so, just to let you know.
Have you mailed out all the renewals yet?
She did, and there's like 4 of them that have already come back already. So we're ahead of the game this year compared to last year.
Maybe the remaining ones get
Yeah.
a special phone call or another letter.
So,
Are the remaining ones the ones that we always have problems with?
Probably not, if they're back already. Come on, chief.
Apostasias hasn't come back.
No, I mean, the remainder.
Blue Heron is here.
They're always on time.
Yeah, I don't remember who saw that.
so from the public safety side of the house, we had this discussion a while ago, and the $1,200 was reached because at the time we thought that the filing fee was $400, I believe, and we went for 3 times that amount for a late fee. Mostly because of the difficulty and basically it thrusts us into a position where we could be held liable from a village standpoint if we don't get those liquor licenses in. It could actually mean revocation of the liquor license, I believe, by a state statute. And that's all things that we need to avoid and encourage people to get those in on time. The only way that we all agreed would hit that is if you do it basically 3 times the amount of the expected liquor license. But since we used 400, I think it's not based upon the actual cost of the liquor licenses, 100 or 500, but that's how we reached the 1,200 for penalty. And I think that we've had one late entrant each of the past 3 years, and it happens to be the same place.
No.
And I also believe that, and maybe I could be standard corrected, but it's not just by a month of being late, it's sometimes by,
I don't know how
A little
long
bit more than
more.
that.
I remember the chief was,
You would.
I don't remember how long that establishment was late, but I think in the 7 years I'm here, I'm fairly confident I can say at least 4 of them. And I know we've reached out to that establishment, and I know last year Laura reached out to that establishment. My personal opinion is we can give notice and give, but
Yeah,
I don't think Laura should have to chase down these people who are operating a business and making money and surviving on this business. If they can't get their stuff and they just don't get their license, and then the ultimate penalty, in my opinion, isn't a $1,200 ticket for them.
lose it.
It's the 30 days that they're gonna be shut down before, unless you hold a special board meeting, and that's where you can justify the $1,200, because a special board meeting is gonna cost
Right.
some.
Yeah.
And special, public safety meeting. So, but I think the biggest action would be if you don't give it to that, they're gonna be closed for 30 days at least, and they're gonna lose a lot more than $1,200, if not their livelihood, potentially. I mean, there's people in this room that know restaurants and bars, and a month close is killer.
especially these days.
Yeah, no, $1,200 swings a big bat. It's up to them to meet the deadline, so.
Right.
I would just say we need to, like Jeff was
The
saying,
first
make sure
year-
we let those people know,
The
the
first
establishments know, because,
A one-time notice, send this back out.
I would throw a copy of this ordinance, put in with their renewal every year and highlight the late fee.
sure, but we're saying for right now, for the ones that have already been sent out, the people that haven't turned them back in,
sent a
should-
copy of this.
we should
to them.
notify them quickly that this is now in existence.
I would still even send it to the other ones too, just so they have knowledge of it going into next year.
I would agree.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I would definitely highlight section Q
Okay.
if it passes the board.
And it's certainly one of those fees that we're not looking to collect on, we don't
Right.
want to have to bring it to that
Right.
level. It's not expected to be any form of revenue, but it's, you know, what you call it, a heavy,
Big bat.
big bat.
Well, it would come back on us if we allowed them to operate without that license.
It absolutely would.
The copy could certainly go out before the publication in the paper, then it can go out tomorrow or Monday or whatever, if it passes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 2021-04.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8. Going to closed session as per Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 sub 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to discuss combined shared services. A roll call vote and a motion.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second?
Any further discussion? Trustee Hoddishaw?
Aye.
Trustee Renner?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Con?
Yes.
Trustee Goodman?
Yes.
President Lysick, yes. Unanimous. We will enter closed session. Kill the recording or two.
How's the driving doing?
We're off to a pretty strong march.
Good.
Yeah, it was good to see. So we've already got, you just can't please everybody, right? So there's some people that are saying now that the Supreme Court ruled, why don't you lift all the masks? We're still wearing masks. I'm like, listen, just because the Supreme Court ruled that what he did was illegal doesn't mean it's not a safe thing to do.
That's right. They
So-
don't